My name is Duddits, I do builds and stuff. Today's video is something that I covered last week about a brand new armor set in the game. Now this armor set, in my opinion, works absolutely perfectly on Stasis because you're going to get maximum frost armor with this build and healing. Now the gear set in question is called the Aihedo. Final blows with freshly drawn weapons heal you, and then bows, shotguns and sword also give you damage reduction. Now the build I'm going to run is going to give you infinite times 8 frost armor with real good class ability gains with a strategist sword and a high class stat, so stay tuned for that. I'll also be featuring a couple of different swords, including Attrition orb swords. Another thing I covered, Attrition orbs on swords got buffed. We're going to get loads of orbs, loads of class ability regen for your frost armor, so stay tuned, I'll break it down. So the exotic of choice, I'll start with that first, is a Ballidorse Wrathweavers. Targets frozen by your Winter's Wrath take increased shatter damage, allies in range of your Winter's Wrath. Shockwave and Frost Pulse gain frost armor and deal increased damage with Stasis weapons. Now basically, whenever you put your Frost Pulse down, you're going to have a times 8 frost armor and a times 2 weapon surge for Stasis weapons. Pair that up with Frost Pulse. Frost Pulse is an incredibly strong aspect. It just freezes everything every time you put your Rift down. I like to pair this up with Ice Flare Bolts because this will just freeze everything in sight. Super good little combo. So for an example, you put your Frost Pulse down, you'll notice I've got my times 8 frost armor. Look at the state of that, absolutely brilliant. Now times 8 frost armor is 50% damage reduction, which is better than Woven Mail. Now it's been buffed, so that's absolutely crazy. Now the armor set, you don't get healing with this, but this armor set, the 2-piece Aihedo, final blows with freshly drawn or reloaded weapons heal you, so as long as they're reloaded and freshly drawn, you're going to get healing. And then the 4-piece, bow, shotgun and sword final blows temporarily reduce incoming damage on top of your frost armor, and then you can keep extending it by doing more damage with them weapons. Now, obviously, we need to check the healing, because at first I thought the healing is not going to be great, or it might just be sort of a bit whiffy, but it's actually very, very strong. So I've damaged myself. Look at that healing on the top there. That is absolutely nuts. So basically, we're going to get times 8 frost armor and this mega healing. It only lasts for like a second or two, but it gives you an absolutely huge boost. Look at that. It's literally massive, really, really strong. Now, don't get sort of mixed up like I did, where you think you have to use them specific weapons all the time. You don't have to. As long as you use any weapon, it will heal you, as long as it's freshly drawn and reloaded. So any weapon, but obviously you want to focus on both shotguns and sword. Now on the sort of topic of swords, we've got this Aurora Dawn with the Vanguard Determination. I picked this up from Pinnacle. You're going to get damage resistance when you use your class ability. This is going to work perfectly as well. So I'm just going to show you that sword working for now with this healing and your frost armor. The other thing with Ballidorse, it actually gives you a times 2 weapon boost as well for Stasis weapons, which is 17%. That's just a nice added bonus. The other thing I forgot to mention that Ballidorse does as well is every time you come out of your super, you'll also gain times 8 frost armor and a times 4 Stasis weapon boost. So put your class ability down for times 2, and then every time you finish your super, you get a times 4 Stasis weapon boost. Attrition orb swords is another option, something I covered. Daily sustained damage creates a slightly improved orb power. That's the enhanced version with cold steel. Now this slows and freezes things in sight. This works well with a fragment I'm going to show you later on. But Attrition orbs got buff, which you can use these orbs for all sorts. Not for healing, because you don't need it, so you don't need to run that nerfed healing mod on your legs. You can run it for like grenade recharge, but look at the state of all them orbs there. Absolutely gross. Loads and loads of orbs. A huge buff for Attrition on swords. My personal pick is Ill Omen with Strategist, or Strategist weapons in general, but because it's a sword and it's going to work with a gear set, Strategist final blows with this weapon generate improved class ability. You've also got Surrounded on there, plus your times 2 Stasis weapon surge, or your times 4. This thing hits like an absolute truck, and bearing in mind you're going to freeze things. Now Strategist and Whisper of Refraction is just an absolutely insane combo. Defeating slowed frozen combatants, grants you class ability. We're going to be slowing and freezing everything with our Frost Pulse. This little combo with Strategist is just absolutely disgusting. especially if you run it with a moderately high class stat. Now you don't need to go into like massive class ability stats with this, because you'll see the class ability energy gains from other sources, i.e. Strategist Refraction, is 190% gains. That is absolutely huge. The only reason you'd build into your class ability a bit more is to get an overshield, but just look at this, how much class ability I get back. Really, really good. It's 190% gains from all class ability gains, things like Whisper of Refraction, Strategist, even some of the Bray Legacy perks are going to benefit from having 100 class, and it just fits perfectly because obviously you want to be putting your class ability down as much as possible to get that ×8 Frost Armor, which you're going to have up quite a lot, ×8 Frost Armor. You can also add weapons in with Rhyme Stealer if needed, but you don't really need to. You've got a ×8 Frost Armor pretty much infinitely, and as a nice little added bonus for all Stasis builds with this Ihedo gear set, you're going to get that healing, and it just works nice. You can use things like Icebreaker, Lord of Wolves as well for instant sort of kills. Now, because we're slowing and freezing things, I highly recommend running solo weapons. Like I said, it doesn't have to be the exact same weapons of this gear set, but you've got Lord of Wolves if you want to run a shotgun, you've got Icebreaker, you've got things like Arianas, all different types of solo weapons. There's even solo swords as well, false idols. You've got Conditional Finality, fits the build pretty perfectly. Now, the reason why I said solo weapons is because you've got the Cauterized Darkness, Stasis or Strand debuff non-boss combatants take increased solo damage from all sources. I've tested this quite a lot, and it's sort of a weird perk because it goes up and down depending, but just on a primary ammo weapon, 324, you get a 15% damage increase. Well, it's actually 16%, so it's not bad, but it's actually a weird sort of mod anyway, that one, because I've had up to 30% on Icebreaker a couple of times, so it all depends on what weapon you're using. I'm going to do some further testing on it, but a minimum of a 15% damage increase with solo weapons just feels really, really nice. Plus, you've got that ×8 Frost Armor, like I said, and all that healing, and the damage reduction. It opens up so many different types of options and weapons. Like I said, Strategist is just excellent with Refraction. You've got all sorts of different weapons. Like I said, sticking to solo weapons, Conditional will work nice. Lord of Wolves is also good for that extra bit of damage from your freezing from the Stasis debuff, Cauterized Darkness, and bearing in mind, it is a shotgun Lord of Wolves, and you will get that sustained damage reduction as well as part of the Ihedo gear set. Ariana's works pretty nice. There's, like I said, there's so many different types of weapons. Now, with regards to Stasis, Ballidorse, again, there's quite a lot of different builds, but in my opinion, this build has always been very, very strong. The only thing it really lacked was healing. You was having to build into healing a lot more with this build, but you don't need to do that now with this gear set. So you've literally got everything. You've got healing, massive damage reduction, 50% on tap, which you can keep refreshing all of the time. Really, really strong. Now, just to take more advantage of that Cauterized Darkness, I recommend a Dustfield Grenade as well, because that will apply that debuff for a longer period of time, versus like a Glacier Grenade or a Curl Snap Grenade to sort of come out of it straight away, whereas the Dustfield Grenade does seem to linger a little bit longer. Now, huge thanks to Destiny 2, the game, Bungie, and the D2 Creator Hub. I have got some of these absolutely awesome emblems to give away. What I want you to do is just comment on the video, basically, what's been your favourite part of Edge of Fate, and I will randomly drop 9 of these emblem codes over the next couple of days. I'll probably drop 4 today, or 5 today and 4 tomorrow, but keep an eye out. I will just drop the codes. I hope you found this video helpful. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.